Wine Man TV. I am your host, Stan Rattan, and this is the Blue Collar Wine Show, where I help you spend your wine dollars wisely. And we're doing another episode on this wine that I am very intrigued about. It's Cannonau Di Sardegna. And the reason I'm intrigued about it is because the people from Sardinia live longer than most people because, and it's been linked scientifically to their consumption of Cannonau, which is basically, well, it is Grenache. It's Grenache. It's that easy. Now, this is one of the things that puzzles people about the wine world, especially when you're delving into European wines. A lot of people think that they don't know anything about wine because they don't know this is Grenache. Well, I'll just Google it. You'll find out right away. That's all it is. It's not complicated. It's just Grenache. And it's Grenache grown on Sardinia, primarily on the east side of the island. And it's believed that this is the original home of Grenache before they took it over to Spain, where they called it Garnacha when the Spaniards dominated that island, overtook that island. They moved the Grenache over to Spain. Of course, we know Grenache is grown prolifically in the Rhone Valley. There's an abundance of it there, and it expresses itself very well there. But the Sardinian version of Grenache, called Cannonau Di Sardegna, is very high in antioxidants. And it has a high level of polyphenols, and also, I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget, anthocyanins, anthocyanins are what give red berries a red color. They are very high in antioxidants, which of course is good for your heart. So it's a very heart-healthy wine. And actually, most Sardinians live into their 90s. Their average age is higher than the rest of the world. And it has been linked to their consumption of Cannonau Di Sardegna, which is kind of cool. And of course, they don't drink a ton of it. Their average consumption is 2 glasses a day. So, moderation is good and everything. So we got 3 of them here. We're going to get started right off the bat. This is the Tonaghe, Contini Tonaghe, Cannonau Di Sardegna, 2014. And it is 13.5 alcohol, and it rolls in at $12. There's the label. I think the last 2 episodes have been quit showing the label. Let's give it a little rinse. Of course, it's well known now that doctors will prescribe the drinking of red wine to people who have had heart attacks. Red wine in itself is good for the heart. It's been researched that Cannonau in particular is high in antioxidants. See what we get on the nose here. I get a little bit of like sticks, twigs on the ground. A little bit of red flowers coming through, a little bit of crushed rock. And I'm getting kind of a dry herb that I can't really put my finger on. It could be oregano. It's not oregano. I always fall back on oregano. Thyme, perhaps. Maybe a little bit of rosemary coming through. Let's see what we get on the palate. This could be a dangerous wine. It is smooth. It is smooth. Like baby bottom smooth. I used to love to rub my cheek on my kids when they're babies. I just love their smooth little, pudgy little cheeks. It's so cool. This has currants, cherries, a lot of ripe cherries to it. You get the minerality underneath, very light tannins. Actually, Grenache is not known to be heavy tannins, although some of the Grenache grown around the Châteauneuf-du-Pape area, it can be a lot more structured. A little bit of strawberry coming through on this. I'm getting a little bit of chocolate it's very light on the palate, but it dances with some heavy feet, if you know what I mean. I mean, you would never know this guy had size 12 shoes the way he's dancing. You know what I'm saying? It looks elegant and all that, but this has got some stuff going on, some guts to it. But it feels light on the palate. Very interesting wine. Chocolate notes are lingering on the backside with the ripe cherries, a little bit of currants. This is a wine that you can put on your table and everybody's going to dig it. Everybody's going to like it. It's just that kind of wine. You don't think about it too much. It's delicious for sure. Very delicious. Solid wine. I mean, I don't even know where I got this. So hopefully one of my guys that sells wine to me can tell me where I got this thing. You know, sometimes it pays for these guys to watch these episodes. Just saying. I'm going to say they don't. In fact, just a shout out to Scott. Mr. Murphy, he watches my episodes and he'll jump in and tell me I said this name the wrong way. This is how you say it. I like that. Thank you, Scott, for doing that. Sometimes you just get it wrong. It's just the way it is. I try. I'm gonna go straight up B on that one. It's a solid wine. Light, good flavors. Totally big in the delicious category, just saying. So this is the Sella, Mosca, Cannonau Di Sardegna Reserva 2012. So we're getting a little bit older there. This is $18. There you go. Okay. This one for $12. Sometimes I go on Wine Searcher to get these prices. If I don't know where I got it and I have no reference point, I go to Wine Searcher. So at my store, the store I work for, my guy, might be a little bit more, because Wine Searcher goes for average pricing. Sometimes it's less though, so it's hard to say. Color on this is really light. I don't spend much time on color, and I probably should, but I don't know if you can tell, but it's really, really a little bit lighter in color. Not heavy like a Cab or a Syrah. Almost can see through it. Not as light as a Pinot Noir though. Let's see what we get on the nose. This has a little barnyard action going on. Not heavy, but there's a little bit of stink going on. I get a little bit of a bark component coming through. I'm getting a little chocolate on this and a little bit of licorice. Kind of curious on that one. Maybe that's why it's good for your heart. It's got chocolate in it. Just kidding. Just kidding. I'm getting cherries, a little bit of raspberry action. And there's just a slightest, it wants to go mint, but it doesn't. Let's see what we get on the palate. Holy smokes, I mean this is like the first one ramped up 3 times. Smooth once again, baby cheek smooth. I mean that's just what it is. Chocolate and cherries and currants all day. No wonder these guys drink 2 glasses a day. I'm sure some skew the numbers just a little bit. I'm sure I would drink more than 2 glasses of this. A little bit of raspberry coming through on the back end. This has more weight all the way through the palate, but it's still light. I mean, it's still nice and easy to drink. There's no heavy tannins to this. The tannins are soft. There's a tiny bit of barnyard underneath, but it's hardly something that a lot of people would notice. And I'm like, what was that? Sort of thing. Like, there's something there, but they don't know what it is. A little bit of barnyard, but the chocolate element is kind of X'd out, eliminated by the acidity on the back end. Not high acid, but it's a little fresher than the first one on the finish, which I like. Makes it more of a food style wine. A little bit of leather. Red berries on the backside. I'm even getting a slight bit of orange. You know, like you just bit into an orange, then you wash it down with some red berry juice or something like that, some red cherries. I like this one. A little bit of tobacco as well. Tobacco. I'm gonna go A minus. I just think that's a solid wine. Solid wine. It's one of those wines you could have with ham, you could have with lamb, you could have with steak, you could have it with just a host of chili. I mean, this is a lot of things. This wine could go with. It's a solid wine. Let's move on. That was exciting. 2 in a row. The Mura Cannonau, Cortez Mura Cannonau Di Sardegna. This is a 2014. That was a 12. It's 14, $18, same price. There you go. I'm liking my new camera. I'm getting used to it. Sound quality is excellent. If we can do something about that mug in the screen. Okay. So just remember, if you take anything away from this, okay, Cannonau Di Sardegna is Grenache. Just remember that. It's that simple. It's good for your heart because of the antioxidants. And so far, 2 out of 3 have been superb. Now on to the third one. Once again, very light in color. This one's a little lighter than the last one, but still not quite as light, although it might be as light as some California Pinot Noir. Just saying. Let's see what we get on the nose. This is the first one that didn't have a little poopy kind of barnyard thing underneath. To be quite honest, this doesn't have a lot going on aromatically. That doesn't scare me anymore. It used to worry me, but you know, I've had some wines that couldn't smell anything. Put them in my mouth and it's like, wow. Yeah, so slight tobacco, a little bit of like dusty rocks, maybe a little bit of cherry. That's what I'm getting. Let's see what we get on the palate. Whoa. No. Wow. So, here's a wine. When I first put it in my mouth, I'm going, this isn't really going to do it for me. Lighter, for sure. Cherry notes, there's not chocolate on this one. If there is, it's just so slight, you can't really, it doesn't stand out. More red fruit on this one than the other two. I don't get any currants on this. But man, it kind of goes through your mouth. It's a little fresher on the palate. But then on the backside, boom! It hits you with pepper, white and black pepper, big time. The finish is like, you know, it's like the guy who's running the marathon and, you know, he's kind of chugging along and he's got 4 people in front of him and right at the end he just goes, whoosh, he picks up his stride and boom, passes all of them. That's what this one reminds me of. It's like, kind of pedestrian at first, but then it just finishes strong. A little grippy on the backside. So this would be a salad wine, really. A little blue cheese salad. This would work really well with ham for sure. This would go well with roasted chicken. It's a lighter style wine. Doesn't have the guts of number 2 and the deliciousness of number 1, but it's fresh. It'd be a good food wine, but don't go heavy. Like this one, I was talking steak and all that. No, this would be more for fowl, more for ham, things like that. Not super excited about this one. I would have put it in front of this one, but I've never tried them before. I just, you know, they're both 18 bucks. You know, what the heck. This one is a quaffer. You could drink it easily. I'm not so sure I would recommend it for $18. I'm going to go straight up C+. I think it's above average. It's not a bad wine. It's just not great. That's all. Just above average. There you go. Hopefully you learned a little bit about Cannonau. Make a comment if you'd like. Do you want us? In fact, I want some recommendations from you guys. You know, I'm getting tired of just sitting back and doing these and not pushing it. But please make some comments. Just say, what do you want to see? Now, I had a good comment a while back. I just couldn't orchestrate it very well. Do you like the blind format? Is that something you like? Do you like me to do specific ones like Cannonau and talk about it and try to simplify it just a little bit? Do you want me to do like Cab versus Merlot sort of thing? What do you want? Just tell me. Make a comment. I love comments. You keep watching, and I'll keep helping you spend your wine dollars wisely.